struggling to keep a habit of drawing? Find yourself too overwhelmed? If you want to finally learn to draw again and actually fill the sketchbook, listen up and stick around to the end of this video, where I have spent days and days creating a foolproof way to get you to draw again. And if you watch till the end of this video, you will get homework and exercises that I have made for free that will help you pick up that pencil once again. I think keeping a consistent art practice has been considered something of a golden grail among us artists by now, because not only is it so rare to have a productive and well thought out art routine, but to keep up with it and have it last longer than a week, unheard of. Science says that it takes about 30 days to develop a habit that you will keep doing daily, but it takes 90 days for it to be considered a part of your lifestyle. And let's be honest, which one of us has been drawing consistently for 30 or 90 days? It's definitely not me. Let's have an example. You have sat down at your desk, you have a daily planner, you have every single hour of your day planned. You know what you're gonna do, when you're gonna work, when you're gonna go to school, when you're gonna eat dinner, what you're gonna eat, when you're gonna do your art practice. And then you sit down, the time comes to execute. And you're not executing, are you? The question is, why are you not executing something that you want to be doing? So let's just take a second to first acknowledge that it is very hard to have a habit with anything. Even more so when it requires so much effort, like learning something new and having an art practice. If you have anxiety, if you have ADD, if you're neurodivergent, all of this combines into leaving you overwhelmed despite having a plan, which sounds absolutely paradoxical because the plan, if you think about it logically, should be helping you, not stopping you from practicing art. Sometimes you may even be struggling with two polar opposites in one. So let me know if this sounds familiar. You are sitting down, you have planned your whole day. After a week or two, maybe even less, you feel that you are imprisoned by this routine, you are not having fun, you need something new, and you are basically already tired of it. So then you create a new routine. And this happens again, because you crave the excitement that you had when you first started your new exciting art routine. And now you are once again sitting there after 2 weeks thinking why you even made this routine, because it's not fun. And even if it is helping you, you don't really want to do it anymore. And then before you know it, you are swimming in chaos. You don't have a plan, you don't have a course of what you should be doing because you keep changing, because you're just not getting that excitement and improvement fast enough. There are so many things to learn in art because it can be so overwhelming. Where to start, what to do, when to do it, and planning all of this on your own and sticking to it on your own can feel impossible. So you may find that you thrive in an organized chaos. Maybe you like new routines every other week, but these new routines need to have some kind of consistency. That's basically what we're doing with this series. Let's take a moment to acknowledge that it's okay to be overwhelmed. Repeat after me. I have not found a system that works for me. That doesn't mean I am lazy, I am useless, I will never learn art. That doesn't mean any of these things. It just means that you haven't found your system. And quite honestly, I only feel like I am finding my system now. And I've been on this little floating rock for quite a while now, so imagine. And the routine that worked for you in the past may not work for you now. Being overwhelmed now does not mean that you may have felt this overwhelmed 5 years ago. Maybe you changed, maybe you need a new routine, maybe you need new ways to learn, maybe you found out that you have ADD, and maybe now you need to find routines that are more agreeable with your ADD, or with your crippling anxiety, or with your social anxiety, or with work, or with a new job you have gotten, or with new schoolwork, or with basically anything. It's so important to not be harsh on yourself, because beating yourself up over feeling overwhelmed will not help you get better, it will just keep you further away from your goals. Every single one of us has obligations that we need to work around to fit in an art routine. I also want us to take a moment to acknowledge that our brains have a limited battery life. Your brain is not on 100% battery all day. It may start out green in the morning at 100%, but during the day it will slowly decline until it goes to red. It is much better if you do not let yourself go to the red battery life, because that means you are basically exhausted. If at the end of the day you just feel like all you want to do is fall asleep, you've had a hard day, my friend, and you need rest. But you shouldn't beat yourself up for thinking that because you cannot make art when you are in that red battery, that it means something about you, because it doesn't. Sometimes it may be even hard to find the motivation to make art during the green battery part of your day when you actually do have time, or you feel like you want to be creative. And sometimes you may even wake up feeling like you are at 50 or 40% of your battery because you had a hard night, maybe you worked a night shift, maybe you couldn't sleep. I think that has been happening very often to me recently. I can't sleep well because of all the overstimulation and all the overwhelming things that happen. My brain just cannot shut up. And to get it to shut up, I basically have to listen to podcasts, and that basically extends the time that I am not sleeping, which basically means I don't fall asleep until like 4 a.m. and then I have to get up at like 9 or 10. Just messes up your system. So good sleep is absolutely vital. You cannot expect yourself to be 100% functional if you do not sleep well. And maybe that's most of the days for you. Maybe most of the days you don't sleep well, and this just makes you making art even harder. The best tip that I can give you for this is to not include your art practice during the day when your battery is low. If it is on red, if it is on orange, do not put your art practice during those times. You will not stick to it. And this will tie into the homework that you'll be getting at the end of this video. So let's talk about challenges, because one of the best and the worst ways to start a consistent art practice is by doing a challenge. If you're watching this when the video comes out, October is almost upon us. We are about to have an invasion and a plethora of Tobers, which are basically challenges that encourage you to draw every single day of the month. Okay, so Inktober started in 2009. Yeah, let that sink in. The first Inktober started in 2009, and it was basically a way to get artists to draw together for 1 month and to only do ink drawings. That's why it was called Inktober. You know? Pun intended. It was made by Jake Parker, a very successful and cool artist. There was some drama about Inktober a few years back, I don't really remember, so I'm not going to get into it. Inktober in and of itself is a cool idea. So basically Jake Parker makes a prompt list for every October, for every day, and you basically have a prompt for every day of October that you are supposed to draw in ink. It was basically the gist of it all those years before Instagram took off and became so popular, and now literally every single person on Instagram has a prompt list for October. And I think this has been popularized in the past few years. I do not remember there being so many prompt lists. In the past 2 to 3 years, I think this has gotten a bit out of hand because there's just so many to choose from now. Like, how do you choose? Back then when I started art in 2019, it was just Inktober, like there was nothing else to do. So on one hand, it's so nice to have so many diverse prompt lists, but on the other hand, when it was just Inktober, you could basically see everyone doing the same thing. And it was like such a community feeling, and now everyone is just doing like, making like Frankenstein, like prompt lists, like taking 2 prompts from there and 5 from there and like making this huge list. So October is basically always very chaotic in the art community now because everyone is just drawing all the time. There's just like so much stuff to see like all the time, and it's just like being spammed with so much art, and it's like amazing, but it's like so overwhelming at the same time. And basically the bad thing with this is that now, this was true also for Inktober. I have done a few Inktobers. I have never finished them because, well, drawing a fully finished illustration in ink every single day was basically impossible for me. So I have never actually finished any Inktobers, and it always left me feeling like a disappointment. Yeah. It doesn't feel nice when you don't achieve your goals. And Inktober, I always felt so much pressure to do the prompts every single day, and then inevitably something would happen on some kind of day and I would not do a prompt for that day, and I was behind one day, and then I was behind another day, and then suddenly I'm 5 days behind, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to catch up, like I am 5 days behind, I have to make 5 artworks now, today, to be able to finish the challenge. And maybe with good planning you can do this, and it may be beneficial. For me personally, it wasn't. It basically left me feeling disappointed with myself. And then I would like not feel good enough, and yeah, it's basically a whole roller coaster doing these Drawtober prompt lists. But on the other hand, if you do actually have the discipline and the planning and organized and have the motivation to do these challenges, they can be literally soul healing for your art, because not only are you not doing it alone, you also have a prompt for every single day of the month, and you are basically set up for success if you can follow through. It's just that people that can have more of an issue, because then even despite your best efforts, you may not be able to, and that's kind of what you sign up for really, because if you don't manage to do the challenge, you just don't do it basically. But the feeling of accomplishment that you do have at the end can be worth that fear of disappointment. If you are afraid that you may not be able to do the challenge and follow through, I think facing that fear and doing it anyway, despite knowing that you might fail, I think that's very brave, and I think that can definitely help you get back on track. But we basically can't expect everyone to be able to follow the same blueprint, the same prompt list, because everyone likes different things. No one would expect you to draw the 5th prompt of the day is drawing wolves, and you don't like drawing wolves. Why should you? I mean, there's really no reason to make yourself draw something that you don't like drawing. That is something that I have struggled with these prompts, because sometimes it's just not a fun prompt, and when I see it and I don't want to do it, it's just like I don't have any inclination or motivation to do it, which is the good thing that now we have millions of prompt lists, Drawtobers, and you can basically mix and match prompts and only choose the ones that you do want to do, because it basically gives you like this whole new world of ideas that you don't have to necessarily stick to for like day 5 of a prompt list. If you don't like it, just take day 5 from a different prompt list or make up your own prompt. I think we can all agree that the most important thing is to be drawing with these challenges, and to be stuck on drawing something that may not interest you. It is also important to know that if you feel that having a set prompt list and sticking to it, even if you don't like some of the prompts, works for you, you should totally do that. It's just that everyone works differently, everyone has different ideas, everyone has different ways that their brains works. What works for you may not work for someone else. And I've seen so many people like do these challenges and be like super set on making like fully fledged finished illustrations every day, and then they burn out within like 3 days. I've done this too. So I would encourage you to basically doodle if you want to make a doodle, or do a finished illustration one day, do a doodle another day. We will talk about this more at the end of the video in the homework part. You should set yourself up for success by acknowledging the way that you are, and that if one day you don't feel like doing an illustration, just don't. Do a sketch, don't color it, do a doodle, do anything. Anything is better than nothing. Personally, I feel that the weekly challenges are much less intimidating. There are many creators that basically host. This basically happens during the year as well, not just in October, but there are many creators that put out like during the year, they put out like monthly prompt lists, which is like they put out the month, let's say September, and they do like prompts for each week of the month. So it's like weekly prompts for that particular month. And this is much less intimidating because you have a whole week to do whatever you like. You can do the same prompt every single day of the week, and you can experiment with like what you like, what you don't like, and you can do an illustration on like the 5th day. So this is much less intimidating than the everyday, because let's face it, not everyone can draw every day. So I have found that this is a really nice like in-between way to get back into drawing, the weekly challenges. So I definitely recommend this as well. And another thing that can stop you from sketching, or that may have already stopped you unfortunately from sketching, is the pressure of performing on social media. I cannot tell you the many times recently that I have seen artists that I really like basically deleting the art profiles because they feel like they are creating inadvertently for content instead of for themselves. And that's a very thin line, and I have to admit I am also balancing on that very thin line between having the pressure of posting on Instagram, especially when I'm doing other things and don't have time to post, or when I just want to draw for myself and don't necessarily want to share it but feel like I have to share it because people want to see what I'm drawing. But I can't remember the last time I drew and didn't in the end up using it as content for Instagram, which is kind of sad because it's like you are subjecting all your art as like a payment to Instagram, which I genuinely do not have any art at this moment that I have not posted on Instagram, because when I don't have time to create, I will literally just open my sketchbook and just photograph like one thing, and it basically feels sometimes like selling your soul kind of to Instagram, because no art is just yours. And then you feel like maybe you shouldn't be drawing some things because they are not ideal for content, or you basically wouldn't be able to post them because they are more personal, or you want to explore more and you don't want to explore more in your sketchbook because if you post this and it's a different medium to what people are used to seeing on your account, you get less views, you get less likes, and then you get discouraged, and then you never use the medium again. You can basically kill the exploration that you should be having in your sketchbook. And that's so sad, and I feel like this has been happening to me as well, and I really want to heal this because it's not healthy. So basically posting your art on social media, especially if you are doing a challenge like we mentioned before, can be a double-edged sword, because on the one hand you will be posting your sketches and your art every day, so it's like you are keeping yourself accountable, you are posting every day and you feel good because you are not falling off the train. You have people to keep you accountable for drawing every day, and you're posting your drawings so you know that you have to post them and keep doing the challenge. On the other hand, let's say day 7 of the challenge rolls around and you don't like what you made, you hate it, and you don't want to post it because it looks bad, like you don't like how it looks, and you feel the pressure of posting it because you have been doing the challenge for 7 days now, and even though you really do not like this art, you post it. And then you just don't feel good because even if it's just in your mind, even if it looks fine, you're basically forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do. And that is not always beneficial, even though it can be to get you over like this blockage of not posting consistently and not drawing consistently. It can have the opposite effect if you deeply feel like you do not want to share this artwork for whatever reason. And this can help with perfectionism, but like I said, this can also leave you feeling like sad and debilitated, like, oh, I really didn't want to post this, now I feel like I am forced to post even the stuff that I do not like. So what is this week's homework? This week's homework is to mentally prepare you for having a consistent art practice, because I can't teach you anything if you don't start finding time to draw. So let's see what you will be doing. I am assigning you 2 homeworks, 1 low effort and 1 extra credit. You will be doing a 7 or 30-day doodle challenge. I have created templates for this that you will be able to find on my Gumroad for a small fee if you would like to use them. There is absolutely no need to use them, but if you want to support me and support what I'm doing, you can buy the templates to show your support for this new sketch series and to use the templates for the homework. This is not necessary, you can draw the template on your own. I wanted to make this as free and as accessible as possible, so you do not need the template to do this homework. You can draw it yourself on a piece of paper or in your sketchbook or whatever you want, but if you want to show support for the sketch series and for what I'm doing, you can buy the template for a small fee and use it for doing your daily doodles. The goal is to establish a consistent art practice, a time during the day where you sit down and doodle for at least 5 minutes. I have purposefully included so many days so that you can experiment, mess around with your schedule, doodle one day in the morning, one time at lunch, one time after dinner perhaps. The goal is to find your best hour to draw, and if you find that you function best in an organized chaos, Godspeed. Most of the time, me too. So that's a good result as well. But let's at least try and narrow it down. I will be doing this homework as well. I definitely need it with all the routine changes I've had recently. I've been trying to find a good time to sketch and I just haven't been able to. So I'm excited to do this homework with you guys. So let's see some examples. For me, I love animals and creatures, so I'm thinking of focusing on mystical and mythical and legendary animals, which are basically animal hybrids combined, like jackalopes, wendigos, but cute. So I'm thinking of doing this for my own doodle challenge, but maybe I will feel that I want to switch it up during the doodles, so maybe one day I will do something else. You can daily doodle something like what food you ate, what breakfast you had, or what dinner you had. Maybe you went to a nice restaurant, maybe you had a nice brunch. You can doodle that. You can doodle your pets. Maybe your pet did something funny today. Many of our members on the Discord server that we have started playing Tiny Glade recently, which is a very cozy, cute building game. As an example, if you're playing any kinds of games like Stardew Valley, Baldur's Gate, anything basically, you can basically make a doodle of something from that world, maybe a character, a prop, a landscape, a house that you like. For example, in Tiny Glade, I haven't played it personally, but it looks really fun. You can doodle a part of the creation that you made in there. Also do something like a doodle of fan art every day. You can do one day of Pokemon every day, like someone did here. Remember, the doodles don't have to be extravagant, they don't have to be polished. The point is to start finding time to draw. You can draw in ink if you like, you can draw with coloring pencils, you can use any medium you like, as long as it's something that encourages you to draw and that you like using. I do wholeheartedly encourage you to perhaps try different mediums. I know it's a very small space to draw, but this could make trying out new mediums way less intimidating than if you had a full sketch page in front of you. So maybe try out some gouache, some watercolors, markers, or perhaps coloring pencils. This small area can help you get rid of the perfectionism, knowing you will only be using the new supplies for a short while. The extra credit homework is to do a sketch page based on today's doodle. You can do this after or before your doodle, exploring more ideas within that one idea. The doodle can be a kickstarting point or a goal of the sketch page, choosing a doodle at the end to put into the square. If you look at the template, you will see little strawberries at the beginning of each square. In these strawberries, you can input the date that you are on. You will also see a little battery. This battery is so that you can fill it with a green, orange or red color depending on how much energy you had that day to draw. This will help you keep a consistent track of how much energy you have when you do each doodle every day. This should help you figure out your performance based on your energy and which time of day is best for you to draw. On my Gumroad template, you will be able to find prompts that I have written for you. You will also be able to find templates that are supposed to help you with planning your doodle page and to review your doodle page when you are finished with it. The templates that I created are made to be done before and after you do the doodle page. So you have a template to fill in before you even start, where you can answer some key questions that will help you plan your doodle page, and then you have a template that you are supposed to complete after you complete your doodle page, which is basically a review of how well you performed and asking some key questions to help you evaluate your performance. I made all of these templates to make the whole process easier for those that feel even more lost and that want an even more organized approach, and to support the sketch series, of course, so that I can continue making it. If you successfully finished this video's homework, you can go to our Discord server and post it in the Finished Homework Assignments channel. And after completing this process, you are eligible to get your first ever badge. So far we have 5 badges to collect based on the homework assignment. If you want to read about how all of this works, you can go and check it out in the How It Works segment of our Discord server. Basically, there are 5 badges to earn. The first badge is a Mossling, so you will be eligible to win the Mossling badge if you complete this video's homework. You will also be eligible to have your first ever badge certificate, which will congratulate you on getting your first ever badge. The more homework assignments you do, the more badges you will earn. The higher the badges go, the more difficult they are to earn. But the general rule is that there are about 3 homework assignments between earning each badge. This is a reward system to encourage you to do the homework and learn to draw. If you are new here, hi! I started this free ongoing sketch series to encourage people to start drawing again and get back into art by teaching you the basics and fundamentals. The videos come out every 2 to 3 weeks. You can join our lively and budding Discord server where you can interact with fellow people who will be doing the homework and in general be a part of a healthy, cozy, positive community. We'd love to have you, so come and say hi. If you want to know a bit more about me, my name is Pat. I have been a professional concept artist for about 5 years now. I have worked for multiple games in the games industry, both mobile and PC. Last year I started my own business called Cadbury Studio on Instagram, where we now have 100k followers, which is insane. And I decided to start the sketch series instead of doing a new shop update for my shop because so many people wanted to learn to draw from me. All I can say is that I think you are in good hands and I look forward to seeing you in 2 to 3 weeks time. Love and hugs, Cadbury signing out.